Ladies and gentlemen, all rise. Court is in session. A very special session. I am Drew Celestino. Welcome to the Devil's Due. With me, not quite as always, but not as often as he should be, could be, was in the past, but is today, is Mr. J. Gelsomino.
Would you say I'm the Kota Ibushi to your Kenny Omega?
Tonight, yes, that is apropos, sir. We are back together after many moons apart.
The OCP lovers are back.
It's kind of like that. So let us set the stage really quick here, folks. This is a very special episode of The Devil's Due, and we're not going to really talk much about Marvel or DC or any of that. As Jay fumbles with his napkin very audibly.
Sorry. It's been a while.
It's been a while. No, folks. Jay and I are in Huntington Beach, California.
Home of Tito Ortiz and Samoa Joe.
Attaboy. We have just gotten back from the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Style Evolved special event in the USA. And we're a little buzzed up on excitement right now because... oh boy, we're going to talk about this show.
I'm buzzed up on 16 ounces of Red Bull and animal fries from In-N-Out Burger.
Let me set the stage. Yeah, speaking of which, let's set the stage, shall we?
Set the literal table that we're sitting at right now.
We're in a hallway in the hotel because the wife is asleep and we don't want to wake her. We have some delicious In-N-Out Burger in front of us. Jay is pounding a Red Bull. I have, what else would you expect, Jay? But I have an El Segundo Brewing Company, Steve Austin's Broken Skull IPA, right here with my In-N-Out Burger, and it's fantastic.
Well, kid, what do you think?
Mighty fine beer you got there, son.
What?
So,
what?
If you are not into pro wrestling, kids, this episode may not be for you, but if you do...
And I just started catching up on a lot of my comic books, too, so... great. There's no point. Never mind. Things happened.
Okay, let's make it show topical. Jay, what do you think about the comics that you've gotten into recently?
I don't know. It's a lot of... I'm catching up on X titles, actually.
Okay.
Astonishing X-Men, which we have stated in the past. I've mentioned it, that it's one of the better X titles they have, even though we have some weird version of Xavier back. Have you been reading it? I think Colin Bunn's doing it.
I don't know what's going on.
So they went to the... not the Astral Plane. What's... is it the Astral Plane with... no, it's the Demon Plane? Was with one of the Demon guys... shoot, what's his name? Anyway, they all went, like, Psylocke. It's like a team of Psylocke, Phantom X, Archangel, Old Man Logan. Long story short, they're there with something King. He looks kind of like
King?
Demon King.
Okay.
There we go. And not Finn Balor, which is topical for a show about wrestling.
Oh, look at that.
But the Demon King, so they kind of beat him. But they bring, Xavier's mind, I mean, you never know with comic books, obviously. This might be a ruse. It's all a clever ruse.
Okay.
In theory, it's Charles is back. He used Phantom X's body.
I heard something about... so basically, they did the plot of X3.
Kinda, yeah. Like, he just showed...
boy, that's where I go when I need a plot. I go to X-Men 3. Well, there you go. There's our comic book portion of the show, folks. So, from here on out...
And X-Men Red's actually pretty good.
Okay.
Jean's back. Like, it's O Jean?
OG
Jean?
Okay.
It's actually pretty good so far. You know, it seems like it's going back to its ties of, you know, mutants are like the minority, and they're trying to get...
That's kind of the core of the book, Jay.
But that's what they're supposed to have been, and it just, you know...
hasn't been for a while.
And now they are.
Okay.
They're trying to... she, in theory, because as comic books go, you never know what's what, in theory, blew up the head of, like, the UK ambassador.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Enough about comic books. I'm done.
I tried, guys. I tried.
As Carl is often fond of saying on this show, we indulge in our passions on this show, and we are indulging in our passions right now because we are into pro wrestling, and we are not just into any pro wrestling. We are specifically into New Japan Pro Wrestling, because New Japan Pro Wrestling is the most...
That's right, Jay. Carl. I've had to sit through X-Wing talk. Now you got to sit through the wrestling talk.
Jay, what would you say New Japan? How would you describe New Japan Pro Wrestling to the listeners who may not be familiar?
It's
What makes it different than, say, WWE?
care. There's just something to it. It's like if you're, it's you know what it is. Here we'll go back comic wise. It's Image. It's the other. It's not the big two where it's recycled. Nobody seems to care for the most part, and it's the same blah 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 for the last whatever. It's something different. It's more layered. It's more interesting. It doesn't feel like it's a cookie cutter McDonald's, Walmart type of wrestling. It's.
Would you also say that it's not McDonald's comparison is probably a fair one? So it's not fast food wrestling.
It's an In-N-Out burger.
This would you say it's more like a 4-course meal?
Yeah, there's a little bit. I mean, WWE, for all what they say, is like, oh, we got a little bit of everything. Well, your little bit of everything
Pleases no one.
It's not a little bit of everything. It's the same. Okay, Roman Reigns is doing the basic 5 things of whatever that somebody else is doing. So even as much as I love like guys like Cesaro, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, nothing matters. There's no
consequence. There's no payoff. Whereas in New Japan, everything is about. Let's put it this way: everything is about the matches. The matches matter, and not just in terms of like the wins and the losses matter, but the unfolding of the match matters. The pace matters, and they don't just hey, you got 3 minutes, kid, go out and wow the crowd. No. They put in the work. It's more athletic. It's more creative. It's a lot more physical and a lot more fun. Than WWE.
Every move matters. If you do something first 5 minutes of a match, they're going to go back to it 15 minutes later.
Yeah,
it's a good. It's a story.
It's a story. They tell stories in the ring.
I went for just in a broad example. Kazuchika Okada does a Rainmaker. It's a clothesline. As simple as that sounds to anybody who's watched wrestling in the past 400 years, it's a clothesline. But they've built it to a point where it's the clothesline.
Right. If you get hit, you're done. That's it.
But they've done this in Naito matches. Naito or any of them will work on his arm for 20 minutes. You know what happens when he hits the first Rainmaker? Kick out. Why? Because his arm hurts. He is not doing as much damage.
And he sells it.
He
sells that his arm hurts.
There's the story.
Right.
The match tells the story.
Case in point tonight. The Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega. We're skipping ahead a little bit, but Matt Jackson sold his back the whole match,
and he's been doing it for weeks.
Yeah,
he's been doing it for weeks, and they're building up. It's not like, oh hey, Seth Rollins, last night they used to, and this is WWE used to do this. Guys would have a big match the night before, have a pay-per-view, blowout, whatever. The next day, their ribs are taped on Raw.
Right.
They have a match anyway on Raw. They're being worked over on the ribs. Holy God, they're selling the ribs.
Right.
Now it's like, Seth Rollins. I keep going to Seth Rollins. Miz, any of them, Nakamura, AJ. They've destroyed. I'm not going to get on that tangent. Maybe I will. Who knows? But there's no consequence even from the night before. There's nothing.
So this long meandering discussion that we just had, basically to describe the difference. The difference is things matter in New Japan. And the quality of the matches and the quality of the work is better. There's far less bad acting, far less skits and promos for the sake of promos.
It's treated like a sport.
It's treated like a sport. The
I won.
presentation.
Ha. I'm going to gloat, and I'm going to have a press conference right after the match.
Yes, that
I won.
I love that about that. I love their whole approach. The press conference thing at the after matches, when guys win and new challengers come out to challenge the winner, it all makes a perfect sense, and it's presented in a sporting fashion. There's no fluff. There's no extracurricular nonsense. Now, having said that, we are insane because we flew across the country to go to this show because this is the second ever show that they've done in the United States.
Third, technically.
What was the first?
Strong It was
the G1 special?
G1 Special Night 1 and G1 Special Night 2.
Oh, well.
Semantics.
Semantics. So, when word got out that this was happening, if anyone that listens to this show might know, I sent Jay a text jokingly saying, we should really go to Long Beach. And I never expected him to write back, okay, let's go.
No, because I didn't expect the reply I got back from my wife. Which was, sorry, I'm eating animal-style fries right now.
In-N-Out Burger, man.
Didn't even know this was a thing.
So
my wife works at Blue Cross now, same as I do. So I messaged her, tickets for the show in Long Beach go on sale today for New Japan. Maybe in a couple of years, Drew and I might be able to get out there. What do you, whatever. Response back, why not this year? I looked at my computer like when a dog hears somebody fart and it tilts its head. And I just typed back, I'm sorry, what? It's like, why don't you go this year? She's like, you don't really do much for yourself. So why don't you do something for yourself? Like, okay. Drew. I text Drew, how serious are you about going? Which I'm sure got Drew to also give the look to his phone, like, what?
It was more of a jaw agape. I think I might have had that kind of look. Yeah. So 4 browsers open, all of them spinning, trying to get into queue for like a good 9 to 10 minutes. I think there was even a point when I said, "Oh, it's not looking good," and then one of the browsers clicked. It got through, and 2 seats on the floor, and I immediately purchased them. I pounced on them very quickly.
And Drew bought the tickets and then said, oh, I got them. And then I'm like, awesome. And then I'm thinking, like, what did I just do?
Well, a cross-country flight later, and a hotel and a rental car, and yada yada. And here we are.
No, let's not sugarcoat this. You've been here since Thursday.
I have been here for a few days, yeah.
And you're staying. I mean, well, you're not staying, but you're just flying out to Seattle.
I'm making a whole trip of this, yeah. You, on the other hand...
My flight left Buffalo at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got here at 9:20 West Coast last night.
Mm-hmm.
My flight tomorrow is at 11:30 home.
Mm-hmm. A.M.
30-minute layover in Chicago. Back home tomorrow, 9:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, you came out...
This was stupid. In theory. However, we went to the show.
We went to the show, dude. And what a show. Now, here's the other insane part of this that is kind of bonkers. We bought the tickets card unknown at the time. We had no idea what the card was going to be. We didn't know what matches there were going to be.
Us and 57,998 people.
Oh,
or no, I'm sorry, 5,798 people.
Yeah, they're not that big here yet. So, yeah, this show was sold out, folks. They sold out a 5,700 seater in 9 minutes. Like it was insane, to the point where everyone, in hindsight, was complaining about the company, saying that they made a huge mistake and they should have booked a bigger venue because they left money on the table. Well, I think they know exactly what they're doing, and if that rabid crowd tonight was any indication, 5,700 showed up for this. I have a feeling that the Bucks and Cody and Kenny Omega and all the talent they're assembling for All In Chicago in September, spoilers, they're going to sell out 10,000. It's going to happen. And it's going to happen easily, and it's going to happen quickly.
And
prediction.
They haven't even brought up any Ring About or New Japan guys.
Well, Kenny.
I mean, Kenny and the Bucks. And
Right.
But, no Okada, no Tanahashi.
No, and to be fair, All In is not an NJPW show. I'm just simply saying...
It's nobody's show. It's them. It's the
just
Bucks
them.
and Cody and just saying...
Putting on an independent show. I only bring it up because people... WWE fans, let's put it... I'll be blunt about it. WWE fans love to poo-poo independent wrestling and outside companies, other entities. So there's a lot of negativity around this All In show, saying that it can't be done, that it won't work out, or that NJPW will not succeed in with their expansion into the United States. Jay, from where I'm sitting, it's looking like it's going just fine. It's not going to be a touring entity to the size of WWE in America, but
Probably never will be.
No, and that's
Doesn't need to be.
it doesn't need to be. Like, the shows are special. They bring in talent. Their talent matters. Their talent draws. They let their talent get over, which WWE does not like their talent to do. These shows are special. They feel special, and they just...
And they don't feel like glorified. You know, the big thing is tonight had the opportunity to feel like a glorified house show.
So, to folks who don't know, a house show is a non-televised show. It's like with WWE, they do Monday Night Raw, they do SmackDown.
Ironically enough, in Buffalo tonight.
Yeah, that can't be understated, by the way. We flew out to California for an NJPW show, and on the same night as this show, WWE was in Buffalo.
Roman Reigns and John Cena drove us to California.
Yeah, wow. So, roll tide on that. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so a house show. A house show is a non-televised show. So, like, Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-views in WWE, those are, the shows that you know. And they are, I'm going to air quotes for our comic fans here, they're the canon. If it happens on TV, it happens in storyline, right? House shows, well, when they're not doing televised shows, those guys are all still on tour across the country and rolling down the highways and byways, as old Sex Ferguson would say. And they're going to towns and putting on shows. For
finding ladies and
yeah, PG shows.
Truck stop pills.
Let's leave it at
I
that.
kept it PG.
Let's leave it at that. So NJPW, they don't really. They don't run the same kind of business model that WWE does.
They do and they don't.
They
have house shows.
They do have house shows.
They have many house shows, actually.
But
they tour different, though. New Japan. So, say there is... say they didn't do... Let's just hypothetically say that Strong Style Evolved was not happening.
That's tonight's show, right?
Tonight's show. They would have probably done some Road to... Because next week is Sakura Genesis.
Which is a fairly big show.
It's a huge show. Yeah. Sakura Genesis is like in the vein of like Survivor Series Summer. Like, to use that example.
It's one of the big pay-per-views.
It's a bigger show.
Okay.
So if they weren't coming here and doing their Australian tour, they would have been doing they call them Road 2. All Road 2 is house shows. There's a bunch of tag matches.
Gets everybody on the card.
Gets guys paid, and they do a loop. They'll do 4-week tour. Then they're off for 3 weeks.
Which, by the way, is a good thing.
It's the right way to do it because the right way to do it, too, is that they use tag matches. Even on bigger shows, there's tag matches, but the tag matches have implications. Like the Intercontinental Champion, Minoru Suzuki's in a tag match. Mm-hmm. It's a bigger show, but they're in a tag match.
So he has to work a little less.
He works a little less, but somebody beats him.
Right.
That builds your next show.
Sure.
Wins matter.
Right. The guy who pinned him in the tag match will be his next opponent more than likely at the next show in a singles match.
Yeah, so they do. It's essentially the same. They have house shows. They have their second-tier pay-per-views. Tonight felt like a second-tier pay-per-view, and not in a bad way.
You say second-tier, but yeah, we should point out not in a bad way.
I don't mean it in a bad way, but I'm saying like back in WWE's heyday, you can afford. Sorry, I bumped the table.
It's okay.
I got Red Bull and animal fries. I'm good. I'm talking about something I love. It's like back in like 97, 98, you didn't want to miss a pay-per-view.
No.
But there was still a hierarchy. There was still Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series.
Yes.
As much as they tried to kill Survivor Series off at one point.
Right. Those are still the big four.
But you still wanted to see these second-tier shows. They weren't bad shows. They weren't bust-ass main events that you needed to see them, but you didn't need... I shouldn't say you didn't need to watch them, but it wasn't as important. The build wasn't as much. So that's what we got tonight.
But to be fair, a lot happened.
A lot happens. I always go to like the Mick Foley, Dude Love, Austin feud that they had for like a few months.
Yeah.
You had like at No Way Out over whatever the pay-per-views were that they were fighting. They mattered. They built and they built and they built. Eventually, it led to that was his lower feud, Austin's, and then he moved to Taker or Michael or somebody at that
Sure.
higher level for the bigger shows.
Sure.
But stuff still happened.
Yeah, and stuff matters.
Things progressed. It wasn't like a throwaway. Like tonight, you had Okada, and one of the matches was Okada and my love Tomohiro Ishii.
Yes.
My favorite refrigerator. My favorite wrestling refrigerator.
The underappreciated Tomohiro Ishii.
God bless him. He's over in America, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. Against Minoru Suzuki, who I have emailed the show before, questioning what ways Minoru Suzuki will try to kill me in my lifetime.
We are unabashed Suzuki marks.
And Zack Sabre Jr., who's the new kind of it boy.
Oh man. Zack Sabre Jr.
But they have a match. Okada and Sabre have a match next week. So they had a tag match tonight, and it got Sabre more over and made him look like a credible threat to Okada for next week.
Yeah.
Odds are he's not going to win this match.
No, but he looks gold right now.
The way they just built him in the last month, beat 4 huge guys in a tournament. Now there's another guy who you can plug and play in the main event for the next 5 years.
Yeah,
because he looks legit.
Yep.
You can't do that in WWE.
No,
because nobody looks strong.
No,
except for Roman.
No one's allowed to get over in WWE. Whereas in New Japan, it's always about next man up, and everyone gets an opportunity.
Some guys.
Once you're kind of a top guy, they will slot you in regularly, and everyone kind of knows that you're good and you're going to put on a show, and you're going to deliver.
But they give you a chance to sink or swim.
Yes, they do.
Examples: Michael Elgin.
Sure,
he's got some other things that have kind of stymied his progress there.
We're not going to get into that though.
But they gave him a run. They gave him the Intercontinental belt, and he didn't connect. He's putting on good matches, very good matches. Some of them were great, but there's something missing, so they move him down the card. Mm-hmm. We'll find something else for you to do, Big Mike. Mm-hmm. Like discount your shirts tonight. Try to hawk them on us.
Yeah, well, we don't want to talk. I don't want to dwell too much on Elgin. So let's get a quick primer, and then we'll get into match by match what we thought of this show, because this show was pretty fun.
Now, to preface that though,
yes,
part of our enjoyment was where we were sitting.
Yes, we got great seats for this show.
Now, when Drew ordered the seats, they were 5th row, and generally at a wrestling event, if you're not the first 2 rows
on the floor,
go in the back.
Yeah, get up high.
And see what you can see.
Yeah, because generally, especially for me being a short person, dude, if you're not in the first row, if you're not ringside, it's very hard to see past people's heads what is going on.
And it's an action thing too. It's being that intimate to the show. From about 2005 to about 2009, I found Ring of Honor wrestling. Mm-hmm. Now, who's who came from Ring of Honor? CM Punk.
Yep.
Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Chris Hero, who's Cassius Ohno in NXT now.
Yes.
Kenta, Hideo Itami. Tyler Black was Seth Rollins
yes.
was God there at one point.
Kevin Owens,
El Generico, which is
Sami Zayn. Yeah.
Nigel McGuinness, who everybody knows now is the commentator in NXT.
Yep.
Nigel McGuinness is one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. The only reason he's not where he should be, he got hepatitis. Yep. And it killed him. I mean, not literally killed him. The ghost of Nigel is calling matches on NXT with Mauro Ronaldo. Samoa Joe. Basically who's who came
basically
through.
the main players in WWE right now all came through ROH.
The only guys like Roman, Finn Balor, but he did Japan.
Right.
Most of your main guys came through Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
That's when I watched it, was that heyday.
But you traveled to a lot of shows in that
Columbus, time. Detroit, Pittsburgh, Toronto. Yeah. I have seen more of Lower Ontario than anybody should have to see. Because the easiest way to get to Detroit is to cut across Ontario. Surprisingly enough, I never went to like any of the big shows. I never went to Chicago.
Yeah.
Why I've never been to Chicago is beyond me, even though I'm going to be there for 45 minutes tomorrow in the airport.
But your point is, you got very familiar with like seating in these events.
Well, what happened is the Pepsi Center was the first time Steve and I went to a show. You could see us on this first show because we're the two idiots in the brand new JP Lossman jerseys that they just revealed because we went to the jersey reveal.
Oh God! Okay.
Yeah,
go on.
I know I'm a
Go
Saints.
on.
I'm a Saints fan, but there was that brief flirting that I had as a secondary Bills fan, which thank God I got over that. So we went to the first show, and this is you had Samoa Joe versus Jamie Noble, James Gibson, who everybody, if you watch Jamie Noble back in WWE, it's Jamie Noble, the redneck guy. Jamie Noble can go. James Gibson was champ at one time. He was great. So what happened is we went, oh my God, this is the greatest thing since we used to see ECW.
ECW.
So the next show, we went at intermission. This is how smitten we were with this. We went at intermission. They were selling seats for the next show, ringside. For 4 years between there, Cleveland, Detroit, Columbus, I sat everywhere. Twice was I not front row. It became snobbery. Like we would literally walk in. The people in the company knew who we were because they'd see I was Quebec Nordique jersey guy. I would always wear my Joe Sakic white Nordique jersey because I had a gimmick. I could see myself on this show. I was a little.
You were Brock guy before Brock guy.
I was marking out for myself. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, you're over that now, though.
I'm over that now.
Okay, good. Although, to be fair, if you do watch this Strong Style Evolve show,
we are little kids.
You will see Jay and I a lot on this broadcast that was on AXS TV.
We are big in Japan now.
We are big in Japan right now. Yeah, and we're both smiling like idiots. We'll forward these pictures onto the Devil's Due Facebook page. You'll see all this stuff. Like screen grabs from television. But anyway.
But to clarify, so I know the importance of being close and how much more it adds to the show.
Absolutely.
Now, we're thinking we're fifth row. We're probably in the middle. This will be all right. It'll be cool. We'll probably have to see through some people. No, what happened is the way that our seats were set up, it kind of went back, oddly enough, because we're in a pyramid, kind of like a pyramid.
Yeah.
Because this building was a literal pyramid.
It was a pyramid.
It's kind of weird.
The Walter Pyramid in Long Beach, California.
So there's two entranceways.
That was new.
Which they don't do. That was different.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of put this together. We're pretty close to the ring, too.
Yeah.
We're 5 rows, but it's a short 5 rows.
Mm-hmm.
And then we learn guys are coming out literally 4 feet from us.
Yeah. We were 2 seats from the rail.
So
and the guys next to you, they didn't really care because we all just kind of walked over to the rail and the guys were coming out.
They were standing up with us. They were cool.
Yeah, those guys were fun. We were slapping up guys coming and going.
Everybody.
Talent. We shook hands with Red Shoes.
Oh, if you don't know Red
Senior
Shoes.
official Red Shoes.
They announced him as Red Shoes. He's just a referee, wears red shoes. Best referee in the business.
Yes, he is.
Touched my hand.
Kota Ibushi shook my hand.
Kota Ibushi shook
Kenny
my hand.
Omega shook my hand. Kenny Omega shook my hand.
Because they would have certain guys that come out one way, other guys the other way. So there was half the roster was the opposite side of us, but half the roster was intimate with us.
Oh my God! You will watch this broadcast and you will see us marking out like little kids. In any case, we had great seats. Normally I would dread 5 rows on the floor back. I could see very well, and more importantly, we were also across from the jumbotron side, so we could. If I couldn't see what was going on, I looked up at the screen.
10-second delay.
It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. It was about a half a second.
Yeah.
It was pretty tight. So, quick New Japan primer, Jay, before we get into the card. Who are the big players in New Japan?
Well, the biggest player at the moment is your 500 combined
Longest
day.
reigning combined day
Almost.
IWGP champion.
Kazuchika
Okada.
Or are we going to do Okada Kazuchika?
Yes.
Okay.
Okada. He's the champ. He's great, and he is. He's great. That's it.
He now has, I'm pretty sure, has the record for the longest total combined time as IWGP champion.
Okay. So
Now,
this current reign isn't the longest ever. It's
No.
his combined
It's
reigns
the
over the
combined
years.
four total reigns. Might be 5. I think it might be 4. But total combined, he's had it for like almost combined like 2+ years.
So essentially, he is what they would call the ace of the company.
The new ace.
The new ace. He's
Not to
not
be
the
confused with the old ace, which would be Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Tanahashi. And now he's another player. Tanahashi was the guy who basically carried this company on his back
During its bad
times and restored it to credibility and ushered in the era that we are now in. And he's still there, and he still is wrestling at a very, very high level. He's still one of the best. Easily.
To explain him is he's the John's, not in a negative way. He is the John Cena.
In that he's the company guy.
He was the face of the company for a long time.
Yep. He's beloved.
He's the baby face of baby faces. Everybody loves him.
Yep.
Plays air guitar, has a funny haircut.
Fair enough. Then you've got, let's see. We already said Kenny Omega, who I don't think it needs any introduction to anyone that listens to this show, because I think I've talked about him a lot. Kenny Omega is the probably most successful gaijin wrestler in Japan since what? Stan Hansen?
I'd
How
say
long
Hansen.
ago?
Yeah.
So Kenny is...
Hansen and Vader.
Yeah, Kenny is Kenny. He is over. He lives in Japan. He speaks Japanese.
Loves video games and anime. He's Japanese. He's a white Japanese guy.
He's embraced over there in a way that a lot of guys aren't.
He speaks the language. That's the big thing.
Sure. And he's for sure embraced over here. Like, Kenny is a big deal. You've also got...
Tetsuya Naito.
Tetsuya Naito. And he is the leader, Jay, of...
Los Ingobernables de Japón.
Correct.
The ungovernable of Japan.
That is correct.
Not to be confused with their Mexican counterpart, the ungovernables flat.
Flat, yeah. So
there technically is an LI of USA. It's a one-time thing.
Is there now?
When Jay Lethal at one point was a member of Los Ingobernables.
Oh, okay.
So they technically they had a U.S. branch.
Naito is one of the most popular guys in Japan.
If not the.
He's great. His whole character is basically, I don't care. Like, Tranquilo. Like, whatever.
He's kind of...
he's a rule break. He's
Austin.
He's kind of
he's
Austin. Without the violent outbursts.
To use the comparisons.
Sure.
Because that's the easiest way you can help bring people in.
He's the counter...
He's the anti-hero.
The anti-hero. Yes.
That's why you get the comparisons to Austin. Austin was the anti-hero, but because Naito had a his grief was against the company.
Yeah, it's long and it's complicated, but you guys got to trust us. His story is...
It's long but distinguished.
Yes.
Hey, WWE,
we're not going there, Jay.
WWE, the plaque for runners-up are in the ladies' room. I will try not to bump the table again.
That's okay. Naito, who, again, LIJ, which also features Sonata, Evil, Bushi, and Takahashi. Hiromu Takahashi, the ticking time bomb.
Has a stuffed cat named Daryl.
They are all great. That faction is great. Let's see. I think we're forgetting so many guys.
No,
Ishii, like we said.
Ishii, who's kind of like the second... He's kind of like the gatekeeper to Okada.
Sure.
You beat Ishii, your next step's more than likely Okada.
I insist that he's underappreciated in that company.
Most people do.
Because he puts on great matches regularly, and he's not really high on the card. He should be.
Dave Meltzer, who's, as we know, because we subscribe to his newsletter and his podcast, he has said Tomohiro Ishii is one of the best workers in the past decade.
He's great. I love him.
Totally unappreciated.
If you want to to help like the Western fan get into Ishii, watch just go back from last year, the G1 special, and watch his match against Kenny Omega for was it the final match?
It was the final.
For the U.S. title.
That
match ruled. Oh my God, it was so good. Ishii was great in that match.
So you got Ishii, but the next level of guy you probably say is Minoru Suzuki.
Oh, Suzuki.
Suzuki, who leads his faction Suzuki-gun.
He's the only guy worth anything in that faction.
Zack Sabre.
Well, now, yeah.
Killer Elite Squad.
Okay. Oh, they're Suzuki-gun?
They're Suzuki-gun.
I did not know that. Okay.
They're Suzuki-gun. Watch some new. You see,
Here's the thing.
I'm going to go down the rabbit hole a little bit.
Here's the problem.
Watch some El Desperado.
Fine, but they also have Tai Chi.
Tai Chi's getting awesome now. He sings his own theme song, but he doesn't sing it.
And they also have, Takuma Jinoku, what's left of him. In any case, yeah, Suzuki is awesome. And here's why he's awesome. He puts on good matches. I'm not going to say great, but very good. For a guy that old.
48. And his background is MMA. He started the company Pancrase, which is like a forerunner to UFC. He's been through war.
Here's the thing.
On his body.
He's great because he's one of the guys that you see him, you believe him immediately.
Oh, he's terrifying.
That man...
Just look at him.
Yes.
He has flames shaved into his head.
You look into his eyes and you think this guy is dangerous.
Favorite thing in the world, though? One Piece.
Yeah, anime.
He loves anime.
Yeah, that's
this killer, this man who will destroy you, loves anime.
He got a hell of a reception tonight, which we're going to get into. Taguchi, the funky weapon.
Yeah, he's middling.
He's middling. Toru Yano, the comedy card, the comedy act.
You have to put Jay White there now. He's got one of the big belts.
Switchblade Jay White, your current U.S. champion.
3 years ago, he was what they consider a young boy.
The young lion?
Young lion.
Yeah, which is their farm system, essentially, where you
train and you wash Jushin Thunder Liger's back.
You train in the dojo and you make dinner and cook and clean for the higher up guys. And
basically, you're Uma Thurman in Kill Bill.
Kind of, yeah.
And Jushin Thunder Liger is Pai Mei. You can see him stroke his mask whenever somebody does something right.
No,
Will Ospreay's going to poison his fish heads.
Will Ospreay, the aerial assassin.
He's
oh my
big.
God, that guy. Will Ospreay does things that melt your brain.
A lot of people might remember because his little thing he did with Ricochet a couple years ago, Best of Super Juniors,
broke the internet
got on ESPN.
Yeah, and a lot of people didn't like it.
Shocking,
but it was amazing. So, having said that, we've kind of given you the high level of this company and why it's great and what we think about it. So let's get into the card, Jay. Let's pull up the card tonight and just our snap judgments because I know we soaked in a lot of this show. It was a 4-hour plus show. No intermission. And dare I say, even matches I wasn't that hyped about when they were announced, this show was great. It was a fun show.
So I'll just start right from the beginning.
Go on.
We had, now in New Japan, pretty much everybody's in a group.
Yeah,
it's not like a stable, like everybody kind of comes out and helps each other.
It's not like the NWO exact. Well, Bullet Club is, but the rest of them aren't.
It's not like how DX, like everybody would come out together.
Right.
NWO, everybody's coming out together.
Right.
It's like cohesive. This is more like
a loose affiliation.
I've heard it described as like training camps in mixed martial arts.
Okay.
Where everybody fights under a banner. They all train at a certain spot.
So like you're a Gracie guy or
yeah,
whatever.
like one of them is called like something top team, like these different things.
Okay.
So they're kind of like a loose group. Like so there's the big ones are Chaos,
which is Okada's.
Los Ingobernables,
which is Naito.
You're gonna say what? Formerly Shinsuke.
Formerly Shinsuke.
Nakamura used to be the leader of Chaos.
Yes, correct.
Bullet Club, which is fine.
Needs no introduction.
Bullet Club is fine. That's a story.
We'll get to that.
And Suzuki-gun. Those are the big ones. And then there's the loose affiliation. It's called like Team New Japan, which is Taguchi, Tanahashi. You know, they're
Tana's not Chaos.
Tanahashi?
Yeah.
Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yeah.
Ace. Go Ace.
He's not in Chaos?
In the 3 years you've been watching this,
I don't know.
You ever thought that he was part of Chaos?
I just kind of thought he was.
Not at all.
Okay.
Nope. Tanahashi he's his own thing.
All right, I learned something today.
It's like David S. Pumpkins. His own thing.
Yeah, we're going to move on from that. So
I have a Funko problem. I know.
Yeah. Okay, so first match.
We had Roppongi 3K.
Roppongi.
Rocky Romero, who he's been New Japan, he's been Ring of Honor, he's been around forever.
Rocky Romero's been around the block.
With Sho and Yo.
Sho and Yo.
Now, they were young lions, I'll tell you, that young lion class. It was Sho and Yo, Jay White, and David Finlay.
Well, look what happened tonight. These guys are all moving up the card very nicely.
Now, they did what's called an excursion. They go to certain places.
Usually Mexico.
Hiromu Takahashi went to Mexico.
Right.
Okada went to TNA, which they made him. Now we could go comic book with this for a minute. He was with Samoa Joe.
Yes.
And they gave him a gimmick.
They gave him a Kato gimmick.
Kato.
From the Green Hornet.
Yes.
They
gave him the mask and everything.
Yeah.
One of the greatest wrestlers of our time.
Yes.
That's what they did.
Yes.
So they don't go to TNA anymore.
No.
Because that's what happens when you TNA.
Yeah. Not even once.
And Jay White went to Ring of Honor. David Finlay actually stuck around in Japan. So there's that little story. That'll actually come up later. So you had Rocky Romero, Sho and Yo, his new little tag team, who were in Ring of Honor as Dalton Castle's boys. And they were also called the Tempura Boys because that's not racist at all.
No.
So why not? Team Rice would have been just awful. Idiots. Anyway.
So we have Roppongi 3K versus
SoCal Uncensored, which is like an old indie supergroup.
Well, tell me who's in SoCal Uncensored?
Scorpio Sky, who a lot of people probably don't know because he's a West Coast based indie guy.
Okay.
Didn't really work Ring of Honor. He worked kind of CZW for a little bit, I think.
Okay.
Then you had Frankie Kazarian, so a lot of people remember him from TNA, back when TNA was actually good. And the Undying, this man, comic book reference too. They actually have written a comic book together. Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. They have a comic book.
Okay.
Daniels is a huge comic book guy.
And he's in his late 40s, and he's still putting on
bust-ass matches.
Great matches. The guy can work. Guy can work hard.
He's like Suzuki.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are in their 40s, and they're still killing it.
They're still killing it.
And he's pulling out moves that I remember seeing him in Old Ring of Honor 10 years ago still doing. How? I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's DDP yoga. I'm not sure.
It could be. So that match, what'd you think?
Good little match.
Yeah, it was fun.
Good start. I mean, it's
great. A good start to the show. High energy from Sho and Yo. Some good high spots, some high flying.
You're always going to get that from Daniels. I mean, Daniels is like the consummate wrestler. Like,
yeah.
That guy can wrestle. He's one of those guys you could throw him in there with a broom for 15 minutes, and damn it, he will sell for that broom, and he will make that broom look like $1 million.
And Jim Cornette's head Bullocks Club. But in any case,
good start. Gets the crowd going. You know, you get some high flying stuff.
Yeah,
people are familiar with it, and it helps because you're in a U.S. market. These are guys at least at the very minimum. Everybody knows who Christopher Daniels is in that arena.
Absolutely,
at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Kazarian is probably next on the we know who you are.
Yes.
Scorpio Sky being on the West Coast, it's him. Rocky's been around forever, and then Sho and Yo have been in Ring of Honor for the last year or so. Everybody knows who you are. Everybody who's paid to watch this show, we're all there because we breathe New Japan.
Yeah.
We don't.
There were no casuals in this crowd. This was a we know why we are here crowd. So, fun match. That's okay. You're all right there. So, okay, we're off to a good start here.
That was a good match. So then we start next month. David Finlay.
Yes. And
the son of Fit Finlay.
Who you might remember from WWE TV.
And even WCW.
He was
WCW for a long time.
Yep. His son David is...
And some of you may know CJ Parker.
From NXT, formerly.
But he went and said, I'm better than this.
Yeah.
Went to Japan. Went through the whole... He went through the young boy system. He went to the dojo, slept, washed Liger's back like everybody else. Cooked Yuji Nagata some food.
Uh-huh.
And he became Juice Robinson.
And I thought initially he was kind of a joke.
Everybody did.
He's not a joke, Jay.
No, that guy.
Juice is good.
That guy busted his ass and became. In Japan, just watching the shows, they love him.
Yeah, he's turned it on in a big bad way, and he's
Would
great.
you dare say the juice is loose?
The juice is kind of loose.
As I made the comment today, this is the first time a person named Juice in Los Angeles has been over.
Long time. He got a hell of a pop.
Yep, against.
People went nuts for Juice when he came out tonight,
And it's a testament to his work. I think it's everybody. Everybody saw him. This is the kind of crowd that has the network, the WWE network.
Yeah, they're hip to what's going on.
Everybody saw him in NXT.
Yeah,
they're like, okay,
he's the guy who broke Kevin Owens' nose.
yeah, which helped. That was probably the best thing that ever happened to Kevin Owens, coming out bloody and looking amazing.
Yeah, basically.
So Juice Robinson made Kevin Owens,
And in a roundabout way, it kind of made him too.
So he gets this reaction because I think a lot of people see him as, we've seen you develop into this amazing worker, so we respect the hell out of what you did.
Sure, yeah.
You quit the system. You quit the machine.
Yeah.
Stripped yourself down like RoboCop 2 and came back with a whole new set of directives.
But good ones. Good directives this time.
Thank you for not smoking.
Right. So who'd they face?
They faced the consummate team of Representing Chaos.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite wild-bearded booker, Gato.
Spoilers, folks. Gato is the guy he's in charge of booking all this stuff. As in, he makes the matches. He's the guy who writes it all.
He was in a big tag team a long time ago with it was Jado and Gato.
Right.
They were a pretty big deal in Japan at one point.
So Gato is kind of he's the guy behind the scenes, but he also has a small role in the ring.
Mostly to take losses.
Yes.
Because everybody knows he's the booker. Nobody cares if he loses.
He's the anti-Kevin Nash. when Gato gets the book, he doesn't put himself over. Gato and who?
Dolph Goto or Hiroki Ziggler. I'm not sure what to call him.
The forever bridesmaid, Hiroki Goto. Hiroki Goto is a great talent, but he is the guy who he'll put in the work. He'll give you a good match, but he never wins the big one, and he's never going to be the guy.
That was the story. Not last year, 2 years ago. He was a man without a group, and he could not beat Okada.
Well, no one can.
Nobody can, but that was his story. Was that he's tried, and I'm trying, and I've tried to beat Okada, and I just cannot get over the hump. To the point, he went to this waterfall and was trying to
Is that where the beads came from?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's trying to become this. He kind of hones his zen and all that stuff.
Okay.
So he actually came out dressed all white, had Japanese script all over him, like Hakushi.
Hakushi in the 90s.
Jinsei Suzuki. What was Jinsei Suzuki or Sasaki? Whatever.
I don't remember.
Sasaki. Yeah, whatever.
He was Hakushi. That's all I remember.
He was. Yeah, everybody remembers him as Hakushi. So he had all this, plain white, pure Goto, stripped down, ready to take on Okada, and he lost.
Yeah.
Because that's what Goto does.
Goto loses in the big.
And then what Goto did is shameful Goto joins Chaos, takes Okada's colors because he just
can't beat him.
He kind of became like bitch Goto.
Well,
bad word. I'm sorry.
You're okay. You know what? No one's listening to the show anyway, so it's fine.
For the fan to decide.
That's for the fan to decide. Fun match though. Juice was over. Some good spots.
Juiced.
Goto'd. Ghetto'd.
David Finlay came out with the win.
That's going to come into play later.
With a stunner.
Yeah. In L.A. Who lives in L.A., Jay?
I don't know.
Well, hell, kid. You use my move.
Gotta snug it. Gotta work snug.
You gotta work snug. You gotta cinch that up. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I hate when anybody uses stunner. It's too. It's like someone
iconic.
using a leg drop or something. You can kind of get away with using the rock. The rock bottom was the rock bottom. Other people can use it. It's a uranagi. Everybody can use it. Now, if you use the people's elbow, you're going to look like a moron.
Yeah, unless you're John Cena.
But the stunner's the stunner.
I know.
Just doesn't make sense.
When you're the biggest draw in the history of the business, I think you can afford to have your move retired.
Yeah.
Yeah. In any case, fun little match. Finley went over. Finley's team, but Finley got the pin.
Over our pin cushion, Gato.
Yes. And spoilers, Finley might come into play later. Okay, next match.
So now we have the team of Lance Archer and...
Okay, we got to talk about this team. So, this is the Killer Elite.
Killer Elite
Squad.
Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith Jr. If it was Senior, we'd have issues.
Yes, because he's dead. So, first thing, Davey Boy Smith Jr. I've been into him for a little while now. He's pretty good. He, unfortunately, for the last few years that I've noticed him, he has been wearing what I would like to say is his late father's
99 Bulldog.
Worst attire. That being the jeans with the boots, the jeans tucked into the black combat boots.
Not a good look.
Not a good look. Jay, he got tights tonight. He actually had he had trunks and ring boots, and
it changed everything.
He looks like
legit.
a wrestler now. Yeah,
that's the start. When they start changing your attire,
yeah,
that's when we're going to start nudging you up the cart a little bit, son.
All right, well, it's Davey Jr.'s time to shine. Now his tag partner Lance Archer. Okay, let's talk about Lance Archer for a minute.
How far do you want to go back on Lance Archer? Because I can again. Back when TNA was good and watchable, Lance Archer was a big part of the beginning of TNA.
Put it this way.
The problem is, he had a tramp stamp.
Okay, let's start there.
Everything was fine until you saw his lower back and thought, spring break, let's party.
Exactly. So
I had 5 daiquiris, look at my back.
All I could think when I saw Lance Archer for years was like, this guy looks ridiculous. Well, spoilers. He put a t-shirt on, and he has this whole water spitting gimmick going now, and he's all jacked up coming to the ring with the water spit, like he's all amped, and now...
He's got like 5 water bottles with him, and he just will spit water on every single human being that he could come in contact with.
I think he got the whole building tonight, Jay.
He goes into the crowd to do it. He did this, there's from New Japan World from a couple weeks ago. He spit on the crowd, and this woman was bad. she's already there with her mask, with her little surgical mask, which
she's
Japanese
respectful.
are. Did you notice, by the way, when we were checking out for our T-shirts?
The one girl
had the
yeah,
the mask. I feel like we should have worn authentic,
Well, I'm
surgical
not sick.
masks. No, we don't have, but they do it to not get sick.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So next time, surgical masks.
But dude. So, for the first time, I can actually say, Lance Archer is pretty good, and he's got this character thing going.
That was the problem. He was always good, but he had no character.
Oh, he's got one now.
And they tried. They pushed him as high as they could, but it was like, tramp stamp.
No.
We can't push tramp stamp.
You can push him now, because he
looks like a monster, too. He put on... He might have some gas in him, because I don't think they really test over there.
Look, we're not going to talk about that because spoilers. Everybody does the gas,
and I don't care if he does.
And I don't care. It's fine.
If you do whatever you want with your body, I think everybody should be on steroids as it is. I might take some when I get home.
I'm not advocating. I'm just saying they all do it, so I'm not going to point fingers.
So they took on the team.
Yes.
Of again representing Chaos because Chaos is a very big group.
Yeah.
Chuck E.T., Chuck Taylor.
Chuck E.T.
Indie darling for the last 10 years.
He
throws a mean fake grenade and scares little children.
Yeah, he doesn't do that anymore. Not in Japan, anyway. Chuck E.T. and...
Our favorite DVD hawker, Toru Yano.
Now, on the surface, you think, as soon as Yano's on the match, you're like, it's going to be a comedy match. Granted, there was comedy in it, but it was a good match.
Because Chuck Taylor's been doing, again, he's been one of those guys who's been indie for 10, 12, 14 years.
He put in some good work, though.
He's finally getting his break. I don't know if he won or lost last night at PWG, but he was PWG champion lately. He's had a tag team with Trent Beretta in Chaos. They were actually starting the best friends. They'll hold hands on the way to the ring. It's awesome. They were moving up the card, and then Beretta tore his friggin' pec and his bicep at the same time. And I feel bad because they're on Twitter hawking his T-shirts because he's got to pay for his surgery somehow.
Yeah.
That's what stinks about these guys. They have no insurance.
Yeah.
So if something bad happens, it's out of pocket.
Yeah.
Unless they bought their own insurance, which who knows if they did.
In any case.
Anyway, so they had a fun little match.
Chucky T and Yano. That was a fun match, man.
Yano's always fun. He's not going to give you you can't put him in there for 10 minutes and expect gold.
No.
If you put him in there for 10 minutes, you expect athletic tape, nut shots, and the turnbuckle coming out.
Which the crowd popped for hard.
Because it's a New Japan crowd,
Yeah.
That's what you come to expect with Yano's.
Yeah.
A lot of goofiness.
And he does the Yano face. The
shrugging
shrug with his face.
And he did that to me. After the match, this is what I love about sitting that close. I gave him the big shrug, and he just kind of gave a sheepish shrug, like, I don't know what happened.
He gave you the casual Yano shrug.
I'll take it.
It was great.
I had my
It
Yano.
was fantastic.
I had a Yano moment.
It was pretty great. All right. What else we got?
Now we're moving on to Cody. Now we have Bullet Club versus Bullet Club.
Bullet Club versus OG Bullet Club.
So you had Cody
Rhodes, yep.
with Brandy, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide on Brandy. Roll Tide.
The villain, Marty Skrull.
Marty Skrull.
God, I love Marty.
Marty's pretty great.
He's brilliant.
Yes.
Against the Gorillas of Destiny. Tongaloa and Tamatonga. Tamatonga is one of the OG Bullet Club. It was him.
He's a founder.
Carl Anderson, Bad Luck Fale, and Finn Balor. Prince Devitt, or as Miz would call him, Prince Nevitt.
So, did I take it that Doc
Gallows came
in
later.
Okay.
Gallows was the next one in, I think. No, it was either Gallows or Yujiro Takahashi, the Tokyo Pimp, who we did not have.
We didn't have
today.
it. No, we did not. Okay, so the match was good, but I think the best part about it was Cody healing it up in the beginning on the mic, trying to sell the fact that he put Tamatonga over as an OG, and he tried to quell the dissension that is in Bullet Club, but he just can't resist putting himself over everyone else.
Yeah, he's like, Tamatonga's one of the OG, and him and Tongaloa are the pure wrestlers that this company needs. And then there's me, Cody, who's the superstar that makes it all that much better.
Cody got so much heat,
and it's admirable.
It is
for an independent wrestling crowd that pops for everything a heel can do.
Yes,
people want Cody's car tires slashed. Nobody likes him, but there's I think everybody kind of likes Cody, because it's admirable what he's doing.
Sure.
So it's kind of like we're playing along with the gag.
Yeah, there is that. But I think he also does pick up on some real feelings of like, you really don't belong in this company. Because I'm sorry, but Cody's a perfectly cromulent wrestler. But I don't think that he's a good enough worker to put in like a 5-star kind of match.
There's not, you can go on part of our New Japan roster. There's guys who, there's not a ton of guys that can 5-star match.
No, but they also aren't leading the Bullet Club.
This is true.
Or saying that they lead the Bullet Club.
They say they do.
In any case, I think part of that plays into why he gets the heat that he does, because people kind of see him as like an outside, unwelcome guy. And to his credit, he plays into that hard.
He is every late 80s, early 90s bad guy to the teen movie.
He steers
blonde hair, complete D-bag.
Yes. And he plays his role to a T. That was a fun little match. But again,
the best part, I think, was Marty.
Yeah.
When Tamatonga and Tongaloa dumped Cody out.
Yeah.
And then Marty is like on their side.
Yeah.
And he's yelling at Cody. And he's yelling all this stuff at Cody. And then he turns around and they shoulder tackle him out to the ring.
Yeah.
And then he jumps into Cody's arms.
It was
back home.
It was pretty great. Marty Skrull's great.
He's underrated.
Yeah.
I think he's rated.
He's rated. He's great, and people should acknowledge that he's great. All right, fun match.
There we go. Now we move on to the 8-man tag.
Okay.
Which gives us our Ingovernable of Japan.
Oh my god, this match.
So you get Bushi, who is a junior heavyweight.
Yeah. Bushi's fun.
He's a fun little... He's
good.
A fun guy.
Yeah, he's good.
He puts on some really good matches.
He does.
He's one of those guys like... You're like, Bushi. All right.
Right.
I know I'm not going to get 5 stars out of Bushi.
You're going to get
a fun match out of
You're
Bushi.
going to get a good match out of Bushi.
Hiromu Takahashi.
Takahashi.
The ticking time bomb.
Okay, keep going, because he's great.
A personal favorite, I believe, of both mine and Drew's, Sonata.
Sonata. I have high hopes for Sonata.
And Tetsuya Naito.
Okay, keep going. Versus?
Versus. Now we have Ryusuke Taguchi.
Taguchi, we talked about him, the Funky Weapon.
Now, that team... Now, he's the captain of this New Japan team. He even wears the little C captain armband, which is brilliant.
He ran out. He had an In-N-Out burger hat.
He had an In-N-Out hat burger. In-N-Out burger hat.
Yep.
You get the time, depending on if you're reading it right, the time splitter or splitter.
Kushida. We've met Kushida.
He has a really bad handshake. It's like Fela-esque. Nobody will get that.
Kushida's great, though. That guy can go.
He's one of those guys he's almost to the point he's underrated. Like, you just can throw him out there and he will have a great match.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
And you're like, he's almost gotten to that point of like, it's Kushida. I know it's going to be good.
I think he's at a critical point right now where I think they're going to bump him up the card soon.
They have to.
He's great. He's done everything he can do in the junior division. I think it's time to put him up, and he can deliver. Okay, Kushida.
Then we have Dragon Lee, who is a staple of CMLL.
Okay,
which is
Mexico.
The Mexican. There's 2 big Mexican companies.
AAA
and
CMLL.
CMLL.
Yes.
They're both run probably by the cartels.
Yeah.
And people probably died.
Yeah.
Via drug money.
We don't talk about that.
It's Mexico.
But he's really good.
He's amazing, and he has this chemistry with Takahashi.
We're going to talk about that.
Which is, I guess it started when Takahashi went on excursion
to Mexico,
yeah. And they just have this. They just click. It's like one of those things. Like it's like
peanut butter and jelly.
Like Bret Hart and Austin.
Sure.
You put them in the match. They know, like, it's just like a great song. It's like a band. It just
works.
It works.
Yeah.
So, and go Ace.
Hiroshi
Tanahashi.
This match had some
We touched
great
Tanahashi.
spots. We touched Tanahashi. It was fantastic.
And he touched me. Because you can look at it sometimes like...
Watch the show, folks. Watch the entrances closely. We're in there. I swear to God.
I'm smiling like a little schoolgirl.
Yeah, we're smiling like idiots.
You gotta think, like, Tanahashi, he's like a legend.
He is. At this point, he's a living legend at this point. Naito, though.
That pop for Naito.
He got a pop.
Now, for the uninformed, a pop is
when the crowd pops for you, as in you're
a reaction.
You get announced, and you show your face, and the crowd goes berserk. That's a pop.
And they did it. They announced Bushi and Sonata. They let everybody else kind of make their way out, and then they hit.
Then Naito.
Then Naito's music hits and unglued.
Yes, they were swinging from the rafters for Naito.
We don't know what he says half the time.
No,
but it just translates. That's to not tangent or anything. That's the beauty part of New Japan.
Absolutely,
you don't have to know the language.
No, you don't. It helps, but it's not about.
It's like a sport.
Yes,
you can just watch it and pick it up.
Yep. From
what they're doing in the ring.
Yep, and you'll have your favorite guys based strictly on what you see and how they act, and you'll get it. You will get it. I promise. Naito was over like Rover, man. And this match was fun. This match was a lot of fun. You got everyone got some moment to shine. Takahashi and Dragon Lee
did what they do.
Oh my God! When they were doing the chops,
they do that every match.
Jesus!
It's just a point where when Takahashi's on one side and Lee's on the other. The first thing they're going to do, they're going to go into the ring and they're going to run at each other and they're going to chop themselves silly.
It was absurd, but it was amazing.
And they've been wrestling for so long against each other, and if you've watched their matches, they counter their counters. The next match they counter their counters, their counters. The next match they counter, then they counter the counter, then they counter the counter, and then they counter the counter. They just have this. It's just when
they got in the ring together, like the crowd got hype, and then they delivered. It was great.
Did you remember that when it was Naito and Tanahashi started off? They did a little bit together.
Yeah.
Tanahashi tags in Dragon Lee.
Yep.
Takahashi just puts his arm out and goes, basically, I want in. That place went nuts.
Yep. And
because they knew it was going to happen, and it happened.
Yep, it was great. Sonata got his not spot in on with Taguchi or Kushida.
The Paradise Lock.
Yeah, where he basically wraps you up like a pretzel and then kicks you in the butt.
Sonata looks...
He's got the look.
He's 27, and he's built like a brick house.
Yes, he
can move.
He's got the tools. I have to see him put it all together to be great, but
that match with Okada. But
it was pretty good. But Okada though, I mean,
it's always you can always say it's Okada, but he was pretty good in the G1 last year too.
Fair enough. We have high hopes for the Cold Skull. We like Sonata. And then Naito's Naito. Once he hits Destino, the crowd goes berserk, and everyone goes
when
home
he hits
happy.
the proper Destino.
Well, yeah. There's 2 versions of the Destino.
There's about 4 versions of Destino, but when he revs it up and
full rotation,
drops you down.
So that was a fun match because Naito is just LIJ is over. LIJ is like over. They are big. They are,
and not just in Japan.
No,
they've transcended.
They have transcended that group.
They've Bullet Club. They've reversed Bullet Club.
Kinda.
Bullet Club was, everybody loved it in America, and they actually now the Bullet Club is like loved in Japan too.
Yeah.
Because before they were the first ones that they drew heat.
Yeah.
Because they're not used to Western.
Well, they are now.
Now they are, but there was no cheating.
Right.
Everything was honorable. And if you were dishonorable, we're going to put a sword in your stomach, kind of.
Wow. Racist.
No, is it a thing or not?
I'm not going there, dude. In any case.
Anyway.
They
were the first ones to, really, old 80s, we're going to break your car kind of heat.
Yeah, they drew a lot of heat. But now they love Bullet Club because Bullet Club's been great for a long time. And eventually, people turn, they recognize the work. And Kenny, obviously, being the leader.
Helps. Even when AJ was there. AJ Styles was the leader of Bullet Club for a little bit.
Yep. All right, so LIJ went over. It was great. Fun match. Next match. Okay. Is it the one I think it is? Is it? Let me see.
Ospreay?
Yeah. Oh, this whole thing. So, folks, it was supposed to be Rey Mysterio, Legend, versus Jushin Thunder Liger, Legend. Unfortunately, Rey Mysterio tore his bicep
for stupid indie company. You're Rey Mysterio.
He's held together by tape.
You have 7-Eleven money. They put you on a box and put you on a cup. You have the money. Why are you in New Hampshire?
Inside joke there, folks. Anyway.
No, here, I'll explain. There was a commercial from 7-Eleven. There's no way Rey Mysterio is as tall as that person.
No.
They put Rey on a box. We know this because we just literally stood right next to Rey Mysterio.
Okay, Jay. So,
this was Drew's highlight of the night.
You know that I am not a man of very high stature.
I hold you in high regard, though.
Thank you for that. I am taller than Rey Mysterio.
By a couple inches.
There's hope, Jay.
DDP started when he was 37 years old.
In fairness, Rey is in much better shape than I am. I'm gonna work on that.
He's slimmed down.
Yeah, I gotta get working. Anyway, so he could not do the match. Torn bicep.
So he came out though.
But he came out, and he cut a great promo, thanking everyone for, apologizing, and he felt bad.
He felt terrible. You could tell. He looked like... as much as you could tell with the guy wearing a mask.
Now, to be fair, he's also negotiating a return to WWE right now. We're not going to talk about that. But let's shelf that for a minute.
Hey, he promised he was coming back for New Japan.
He did.
He didn't specify the year.
No, but he did say that no matter what it would take, he wanted that match with Liger to happen. And he basically swore up and down that he would be back in New Japan. I want to take him at his word and hope that does happen.
I wanted to, right? He never came across as I'm going to disingenuous kind of guy.
No. So...
Reminds me, I actually think I met him once on accident, but he didn't have the mask on.
So how'd you know?
Well, because I don't know too many people who have a tattoo of Rey Mysterio's mask in the exact same spot that Rey Mysterio has it, who happened to be 5'3" in Spanish. Pretty sure it was him at that gas station.
It's less than 5'3".
Yeah.
I know because I'm 5'3". Anyway, okay, so he cuts the promo, thanks the crowd, apologizes and whatnot. Liger still having the match against the aerial assassin Will Ospreay.
We touched Jushin Liger.
We did touch Jushin Liger.
We touched a lot of legendary people today.
It was a big day.
Red Shoes, Jushin Liger, Tanahashi,
Will Ospreay.
David Finlay.
Will Ospreay, dude, blows my mind. This guy, the things he can do, I can't fathom.
The next step.
How does he do it?
Think about this. Remember when Rob Van Dam was like
the highest of high flyers,
or Prime and Mysterio, Psychosis, all the junior guys from WCW.
Yeah.
Who would have nothing can be? How can you top this?
Well, here's
Will Ospreay.
Right. Oh my God. But here's the thing, though. He was doing a ground holds and everything else with Liger too.
Watch his match with Okada from the anniversary show.
Yeah.
Purposefully, barely did any high flying to prove a point. Really,
that's great.
And they
awesome.
put on an amazing. I mean, again,
Okada.
It's Okada, but it does take two to tango.
This was a fun match, actually. Liger being 53,
ageless.
Dude, he was doing crazy stuff.
And I remember the guy who was sitting next to us is just like, I always thought that was like there was a second Liger, which you couldn't do because there's been like 4 Tiger masks.
Sure.
It's a mask, especially Liger, who's a mask and a full bodysuit.
Right.
But nope,
That's
Liger. And last year or 2 years ago, Best of the Super Juniors, they had a big thing with Suzuki Gun. Like Taka Michinoku and I think Desperado were like tearing off they were ripping his horn off of his mask and like really ripping into him. And then they like ripped his shirt off and you look, you're like, he's 53. He is jacked. He is jacked.
More power to him, man. He put on a good match with Ospreay. Ospreay went over, but I couldn't believe some of the high flying that Liger was still doing. Like, you don't got to do that. You're 53.
He doesn't have to do any of this. He's got young boys washing his back. I can't get over that.
It's a great match.
He still lives in the dojo. Liger lives in the dojo.
Well, he's got guys washing his back.
I would.
I'm not leaving either. In any case, good match.
Young man, come here.
Now,
scrub my back.
After the match, Ospreay cut the promo saying, "Thank you, Liger's a legend. Thank you. It's an honor."
Now get out of my ring. I'm Will. No, he
kind of
did. And then he went for Mysterio.
He challenged Mysterio. This has to happen at some point.
The more I think about it, I think Mysterio's not. I don't think he's going to E.
I think he's going to E, but it might not be a long-term thing. Or it'll be a deal where he can do other stuff.
Like Jericho.
Maybe like Jericho. We'll see. But Marty hits the ring. Marty Scurll hits the ring.
Slams an umbrella over Ospreay's back.
Because Scurll is the former junior heavyweight champion. And Ospreay is the current junior heavyweight champion. And it looks like Marty wants the belt back?
Why not?
But basically what we got out of this was Ospreay challenged Ray, and Marty kind of challenged Liger as well. So we have, again, things happen.
And then Ray got in the ring. To confront Marty.
Yeah.
And Marty, with the quickness of somebody snatching a weave off in a World Star video.
Snatching Ray's edges.
Snatched that mask right off of Ray.
Yeah.
And it was smooth as silk. And then he put the mask kind of on his head.
Yeah.
And he had Ospreay's belt, and he was starting to do the whoop whoop.
Yeah.
Little wing thing. And
this was a hot little segment here on the show. Very hot. Marty's he's a treasure. All right.
Former TNA person, Marty
Scurll?
Yep.
Wow.
They know how to build them up and ship them off.
Well, this was a fun match, fun segment. So, next up.
Moving on to...
go on.
Suzuki-gun versus Chaos again.
This was great.
Now, Chaos was a combination of... And I got to stand as close to this walking appliance as I could. Tomohiro Ishii.
Our boy.
I'm currently wearing it. The first New Japan shirt I bought.
Yeah.
Is what I'm wearing right now. Stone Pitbull.
Jay, I think he's around my height.
He is a Short little man.
but wide.
Ooh, as the day is long.
He's a fridge. He's an appliance. He is the Stone Pitbull.
He is, one of the first matches from New Japan. It was him, and I think it was Goto at Wrestle Kingdom 9. No, it wasn't Goto. It was... Ooh.
We'd have to go back and look.
Ooh, who did he fight? It wasn't Shibata.
I don't know.
Because at that point, it was Shibata and Goto had won the tag belts.
We'll have to...
Off of Gallows and Anderson.
We'll have to look back.
Who did she fight?
I don't know.
I can't. I'm not going to wait.
don't know.
I'm not going to sit here and waste time
All right.
trying to figure that out.
But his tag team partner, Jay.
The man who makes it rain money.
Okada.
The literal translation of Rainmaker in Japan is the shirts say the man who makes it rain money.
Yes.
The English is...
Dude, he was so shiny.
Oh, okay. Now it's...
He was glistening.
As an owner of a 4-year-old kid.
Yes.
I own him. He's mine. We're on a Moana kick.
Okay.
There is a crab in the thing that is covered in... He's covered in gold and everything. He collects gold. He sings a song. It's one of the guys from Flight of the Conchords.
Okay.
It's called Shiny.
Okay.
It's Okada. Anybody listening left who has seen Moana, he is Tamatoa.
Dude, when he was coming down the aisle, the lighting in his robe, he was sparkling head to toe. He looked like a god.
That's the point. That's what he's supposed to look like.
My God.
It's Okada.
It was Okada. I think he looked at me. I think we locked eyes. It was magic.
I think I'm pregnant.
Wow. All right. So, versus Suzuki-gun.
Suzuki-gun, consisting of
Zack Sabre Jr.
New Japan Cup winner, Zack Sabre Jr. To explain a New Japan Cup in a nutshell, it's a short tournament.
Annual tournament.
Winner gets a title shot at whatever they want.
Right.
Zack Sabre Jr. busted through Naito, Ibushi, beat Tanahashi in the finals. Who did he beat in the semis? Not Ibushi. Juice. No, Juice went against...
I know he beat Naito in the first round.
It was Naito in the first round, Ibushi in the second round. He beat... who did he beat? Sonata. Another great match.
And then Tanahashi.
And then Tanahashi in the finals.
That's like
That's a murderer's row.
That is insane.
To beat all four of them, that instantly you're up.
You
the
are
top.
Right. So Zack Sabre Jr. is like the man right now.
And
he's
challenging.
He's hated right now.
A lot of people don't like him
because his style is so
technical.
He is pure technique. Submissions, holds, reversals.
You either love him or you hate him.
Yeah. I'm on the love camp.
Or you hate him because he really is kind of a D-bag. Which is fine. That's Suzuki-gun. It's a group of D-bags.
Oh, yeah. He is perfect for Suzuki.
And his tag partner is King D-bag.
Oh.
Minoru Suzuki.
The Minoru Suzuki.
And they played with my emotions tonight.
Yeah, dude. The English announcer kind of derped it. He announced Zack Sabre and Suzuki
at the same time.
At the same time with Zack Sabre's music, and Sabre's in the ring. And I looked and I'm like, Suzuki's not out there.
Because I'm panicking.
We all were. We were all panicking.
Now, as an old Ring of Honor fan, I'm used to the first time we got crowd interaction with music. Brian Danielson used to come down to the final countdown.
Right.
And it was the greatest thing ever because it would just be that.
Yeah, the break.
Right before he'd be like, will things ever be the same again? And then everybody would slap on the guardrails, and everybody would scream out, it's the final countdown.
Right.
Crowd goes nuts, everybody smiles, we're having a good time.
Yes.
Now Japan has their own version of this.
Yes, they do.
It's Katsa ni Nare.
Katsa ni Nare.
So, everybody's like, why are we not hearing this music?
Right.
And then they play the music because they know better.
Yes.
You know, this show is in Japan. This is seen all over the world.
Yep.
You want the reaction that you know we're going to give you.
Now, here's the thing. Minoru Suzuki is not like... He's been around for a long time, but he hasn't really done a lot of U.S. tours in his time. So his U.S. touring experience is kind of new. And I got the feeling, Jay, that like when he does show up, the reactions that he gets, and I really like to think that the reaction he got in Buffalo he's kind of hooked on it now. So when he came out and his song was playing, oh my God, that crowd Kaza Ninare him hard.
If you can,
and I think deep down in his blackened heart, he smiles.
go back and watch the Buffalo show, because you can on New Japan World. You can actually go back and watch our shows that we were at. The second time because he had won his match, with the rest of with Killer Elite Squad against it was the Briscoe. It was Mark Briscoe because Jay was hurt and War Machine.
Yeah.
The second time that he got the Katsuninare, he smiles. And not the evil, I'm going to rip your limbs off and I'm going to enjoy it smile that we were used to from Mr. Suzuki.
Yeah.
Legit, like, these people in America know who I am and enjoy and know the song?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's super fun.
It's just an interactive, because that's the best part of the wrestling. That's the front row experience and all that. It's the interaction.
Yeah.
You feel like you're part of the show.
Yeah. But match was great. And this match was perfectly done. So Sabre got all his submission stuff in. Suzuki was beating the crap out of Ishii. Ishii, by the way, got to get. He had to eat a lot of offense, but at the same time,
that's what he does. Poor guy,
dude,
beat the crap out of him.
Him and Suzuki though had so many spots of just beating each other. My God!
Here's the thing about New Japan. There's no, they frown upon closed fists.
Fine. I'm going to forearm you in the neck.
Well, think of it this way. If I was to punch you in the face, would you rather me forearm you in the neck or punch you right in the jaw?
Sure.
But that's a Japan thing where I guess it's the believability of somebody getting punched in the face should resonate.
Yeah.
Like, I hit you in the jaw, that should affect you bad. That's why they go with forearm strikes. Hitting the neck, plus it kind of saves your workers from
punches in the face.
Punches to the face, and it also doesn't make it look as fake as when.
Right.
Now, the natural way, I've been watching wrestling for years. Obviously, I am not a trained wrestler, but I have been watching this long enough. I know what you do. You grab the guy from the top of his head to fake the punch, and you punch your hand.
Yeah. Not so much in Japan.
It looks... Not in Japan because they don't want it to look hokey.
No. So,
honestly, they want it to, again, look like a sport.
We do the forearm strikes.
It's legit. So we do forearm strikes, which sound like a murder.
Suzuki and Ishii forearmed the crap out of each other.
To the point where, again, this is a smart crowd. Everybody is shushing.
Yeah,
so we can hear the impact because we are animals. Because we're a Roman Colosseum crowd that wants to see people die.
It was awesome. It was. I'm sorry, but like that point in the match where they were just going at each other, it was fantastic. And then Ishii, he sells it like he's hurt, but then he hits the ropes and he starts laughing and like gets right back up. Give it to me again. Give me again.
Tomohiro Ishii is one of the best sellers in modern wrestling.
Fantastic.
Everything you hit Ishii with looks like it probably does mostly hurt.
Yeah.
But he makes it look like you have rocked his world and he is staggering and recovering, or he falls over because it did damage.
It was great. Fantastic stuff. And then Sabre, tying guys in knots.
Beautiful.
He again, love it or hate it, he's great. In
the past 2 weeks, he's jumped in like one of my top 5 guys that I love to watch.
He's fantastic.
Because I can sit there and it's like, I think I texted you. I said it was him versus Ibushi. I said it was wrestling porn. And not like, oh, there's 2 guys rolling around in the ring.
No.
It's kind of weird. No, it was just like this.
These are 2 masters of their craft going at it and giving you what you want to see. So this match was great though, and the finish of it was perfect. Sabre ties up Ishii into a knot, like death. Suzuki's got Okada dealt with
sleeper.
He's got him in a sleeper as well,
holding him off so he can't break up the submission.
So Sabre, who has the title match next week against Okada, and they're trying to make Sabre look like $1 million. Sabre taps out Ishii,
the gatekeeper.
The gatekeeper. So Sabre goes over. Okada doesn't have to eat a loss, and then you're set for next week. Like you're ready to go. It's built in. You're good to go.
It's gonna be so good.
Yep.
It's gonna be great.
So another.
That's my Easter gift to myself is New Japan.
Amen. Hopefully I can come over. We'll see.
All
right. So
Okada is Jesus risen.
Sure. Why not?
Shiny like risen Jesus?
He's very shiny.
I went to Catholic school for a long time. They showed the Ascension. They showed Jesus very shiny at the end.
I mean, Rainmaker pose, right?
The Ascension of Okada.
Fine. So, great match, great finish, building us up. All right, now, next match day.
Well, going off the little results I'm reading here, look, this trip, this killed me. The flight wasn't exactly the cheapest. The concept of getting out here was not exactly the greatest because, obviously, as I've explained, I'm here for literally pretty much a day.
Yeah.
They're coming back. They announced they're coming back
July
to
7th.
the United States of America to the Cow Palace in San Francisco, which is an arena. This is a 10,000 seat building.
Yeah.
Because I think they're finally like, okay, let's try the 10,000 seat thing now.
Yep. They might be all in to 10,000.
And everybody else around is cheering and happy because a lot of you people are from San Diego and Long Beach and LA. The poor Buffalo folk are going, man,
I gotta find a way back out here now.
I can't do it, Drew.
I know.
I want to. I even have. I have an uncle in Berkeley I could stay with, but it's the flight.
Yeah, I feel you. I understand. Totally.
Man,
I'll see you in July. Anyway.
Shut up. Other seats suck.
What's the next match?
So then we get the. I wouldn't call it the pee break match. I wouldn't call it the Divas match because this is in general a WWE thing. Is like before the main event, before the big main event, we have a really big match. We need to lower the crowd a little bit.
Here's the thing. I think this match was put in an unfair position because it had to follow an Okada match.
And it's a title match.
And then it has to precede
what everybody wants to see.
Kenny and we'll get to that. So Kenny and Ibushi versus the Bucks. Here's the thing. The finish to this match, Jay White, your U.S. champion, versus Hangman Page. The finish was great, but the match itself was not great.
A little clunky.
Clunky. That's a great way. You know what? That's a great word for it. I felt like neither guy could really handle a match of that
magnitude.
magnitude.
They're guys who are kind of.
Jay White's green is green as grass. Okay, I mean, relatively speaking, he's pretty new. Hangman Page, he's in the Bullet Club, but he's not like a premier guy.
No,
he's a guy. He's good.
But they're guys again. They're in that mold of you could put them in there with top guys, and they'll be good, and they'll look even to a point of very good.
Right.
When you put two of those pieces together,
right, it
doesn't necessarily work.
I thought the pace was not good, and I just felt like it maybe it was more of a pace thing. They didn't know how to pace this match very well, in my opinion, and it just felt clunky and kind of slow. And
they're in a bad spot. They shouldn't work together. That's what it is.
Fair
There's
enough.
certain guys.
Fair enough.
Hangman Page should be working. I don't know. They're not. It's not a pairing that works.
Yeah. Jay White goes over, and who should appear?
David Finlay.
While David Finlay appears.
Because they've had a little thing going because they were... Now, with the Young Lions, most shows will start. They are in black trunks. They're not allowed any... They upgrade themselves to knee pads. They're allowed, like, if... They kind of level up.
Yeah.
Like,
You don't have, like, your own attire off the bat.
No, you have black trunks.
Black trunks.
Black boots. So they start... They're always wrestling each other at the beginning of shows. It's always... From those Young Lions, it was Jay White... tagging with David Finlay against Show and Yo. Mm-hmm. It was Show versus Yo. It was Finlay versus White. Finlay versus Show. I mean, it was the four guys, so they were all together.
Right.
Now, Jay White comes back, and he's Switchblade and all, like...
Kenny Omega fanboy.
Getting all the accolades and everything.
Right.
And Finlay's, like, jealous. Like, I stuck around in New Japan, and I'm still trying to, I didn't get it all handed to me when I came... waltzing back in the door.
Right.
So his thing is he needs to beat Jay White. So that's the new feud.
That's your new
feud.
feud.
The New Japan United States Championship cannot have any Japanese guys around it.
Apparently not.
Because we've gone, Kenny used to defend against other guy, Gene.
Yeah.
Then Jay White won it from him. The last person who was ever near the United States Championship who was of Japanese descent was Tomohiro Ishii because it was the end of the finals. Since then, all the defenses have been against.
I could get behind an Ishii title reign, to be honest with you. But in any case.
Get behind Ishii title reign of any kind of title.
Sure. So, Finley's challenge is
Give
for
him
the
the junior
US.
belt.
That might not work out. So, Jay White has been challenged by David Finley, and on we go to our main event. The reason why we all came.
Roman Reigns versus John Cena.
You shut up.
60-minute Iron Man match.
Said no one ever. No.
Which was actually the main event for the Buffalo show.
Really?
I think it was Reigns versus Cena.
Yeah, I'm good here.
Yeah, we got a better
You know
match.
why? Because we got the Young Bucks versus the Golden Lovers. Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi. Okay.
Do we give the background story there real quick?
You want the background story on the Golden Lovers? Go to YouTube, type in Showbuckle Golden Lovers. Subscribe to Showbuckle, number one, and you will learn more about New Japan than you ever dreamed you could know.
In 15-minute increments.
And it is fantastic. Shout out to Showbuckle. We're not getting paid for that either. I'm just telling you, his content's great. The Golden Lovers, Kenny and Ibushi, were a tag team years ago. They had since split up. Kenny went in his direction. Kota went in his. And eventually their paths have now come back together, and they're the Golden Lovers again. It's magical. I think I've talked about it on this podcast before. When Kota rescued Kenny from a beatdown from Cody and rolled a tear that the camera caught in the most perfect manner imaginable, and Kenny and Kota reunited in confetti, and it was awesome.
Which was supposed to be Jay White's confetti, by the way, because he won the U.S. title. He should have been in the last one in the ring because the winner gets the confetti. Nope, we give it to the Golden Lovers, which I'm fine with.
I'm totally fine with that, by the way.
Probably not the last thing that got shot off that night.
No. Anyway, there's a little beef right now with the Young Bucks and the Golden Lovers.
It's all Cody's fault.
It's all Cody's fault. Watch Being the Elite to find out more about that. But in any case, Kenny is conflicted about having to wrestle his friends, the Young Bucks. This match, though.
Minus 2 spots.
Okay, yeah, Kota kind of...
It sticks out because the match was so good.
Yes,
and they are
right.
And these are 4 mostly flawless performers.
Those spots were
We had a hiccup.
Those spots were early in the match, though. This match went 30-plus minutes.
Borderline 40.
Borderline 40. Early on, Kota had like a couple slip-ups. But the rest of it, though...
Near fall after they had
Oh, my God.
The crowd in the palm of their hands.
This match was amazing. As I would expect from these teams. They delivered in spades.
My favorite part was the conflicted Kenny.
Yeah, he didn't want...
Kenny, he does a move called the V trigger, where it's just basically a running knee to the face.
It's devastating.
And
I don't know how we make that look safe, but he makes it safe, and it looks like death.
And he's looking down at his friend Matt Jackson, and he just can't do it.
Yep.
Until Kota pushes him and goes,
Knee him in the face.
Knee him in the face. And he does.
Fantastic match. I can't even begin to tell you all of the...
Kenny was crying on the way back. Did you see him?
Well, he might have a broken orbital.
Yeah, God, please don't.
Please don't. So many great spots in this match. Matt Jackson sold his back the whole match. Kenny sold his emotions the whole match. You had Nick kind of, playing the in-between kind of role.
Coda's sitting there going, what do you want from me?
Right.
It's like the old man in the boat. In Goodfellas.
We had Schrodinger's table. The table was set up, and it took forever to pay off, but eventually it did pay off. I thought Kenny died.
It's New Japan booking in a nutshell right there.
Yeah.
Something's there.
Yeah.
It will eventually pay off.
Yes. They don't forget things. Eventually things get paid off. Great. Just fantastic match. Kenny won. Kenny and Ibushi won the match. But Matt Jackson did not want to shake Kenny's hand afterwards.
Well, what happened is...
Nick did, though.
Well, what happened is Cody came out and yelled at the Young Bucks for losing.
Yes.
And he starts pushing them around because Cody is a member of Cobra Kai. And then Kenny's, because we could see him because it came down our entranceway.
Kenny slapped me up on the way back out.
Yes.
So, you know.
Oh, I fist bumped Kenny. And
Oh,
Coda.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got a lot of Coda arm, too. So they come back to help the Bucks
Yes.
because they are friends.
They are friends.
Nick was more than happy to
Shake
shake
Kenny's
hand.
They hugged it out.
Bygones be bygones.
Yeah.
Matt is being a little prissy jerk.
Yeah, Matt's not having it. So we'll see how this develops. So Kenny, after which he got on the mic and said, unfortunately, you can't always get what you want. This is not the way things should be right now. But the silver lining, the Golden Lovers are back together, and we're going to be better than ever, and proud we are of all of that. And he thanked
And
the
he
crowd.
said he's going to kick the poop out of Cody.
Poop. We got a poop
Which
chant.
Prompted a poop chant.
Yeah, so Kenny versus Cody at Supercard, right?
Supercard of Honor 8, 7,
about 2
one of
weeks.
them. Yeah, the night before Mania. Because everybody descends upon wherever Mania is, because that's where the money is.
It's going to be a very big deal.
Kenny versus Cody. I might actually rent an ROH pay-per-view.
I was going to say, is there a way we can watch that?
No,
yeah.
you can rent it. I'm not paying for their subscription.
No.
Because I have their subscription service. Everything I want, because I had a DVD buying problem when I was watching their shows.
Yeah.
I have a box of ROH DVDs at my parents' house. Which is almost every show from like 04 to like 09.
You madman.
Buy 3, get 2 free was just too hard to pass up. They used to have awesome sales, like 40% off on Labor Day for stuff. DVDs, oh my god. Old out of print things. Well, their subscription service right now doesn't have old stuff.
You should start your own.
I will. I'll
Jay
upload
of
my
Honor.
stuff. Johnner.
At Jay of Honor. Kenny thanks the fans and just says what a great honor it is and what a great how great it is that this company is progressing the way it is in the United States, and they're going to come back in July, and it's going to be, the stakes are going to be higher, the matches are going to be great. It's all good. It's all great. NJPW is great. Show was great. I can't believe we're here and we did it. It's oh my god, it's awesome. I had such a good time.
Was it West Coast time? It's 12:31 West Coast time.
Yeah,
I gotta
it's about
fight.
that
I'm gonna
time.
have to fight LA traffic in the AM LA traffic tomorrow morning.
But you can sleep on the plane.
I can't. I just can't sleep on the plane.
Fair enough. But we had a great time. I can't believe we pulled this off. This is a great big mission accomplished for us, man. We went to an honest to God NJPW show in California.
Like the next step, Tokyo Dome.
Tokyo Dome.
I have received permission to try. If I can find low enough rates, if I sleep on a subway, if I find a Japanese garden to lay down in.
We can start the planning now. We can start saving your pennies. We can make this happen. I think it kind of has to.
Taking it 1 yen at a time.
1 yen at a time. Well, this has been a very special episode of The Devil's Due, where we mark out over NJPW.
And not like one of those special episodes like an HBO Families in Crisis.
No Ben Affleck slamming his shoulder into a door here. So, Jay, this has been fun.
It's like old times.
It's kind of like old times.
The Golden Lovers are back.
And better than ever.
Does that make Carl Cody?
Kind of.
Or is he a buck?
He can...
We'll make him Tongan for a day.
Make him Tongan? Sure.
He's Tamatanga.
He's Tamatanga. All right, folks. This has been the Devil's Due Podcast. This has been fun. Hope you've enjoyed it. If not, I apologize. But check out NGPW. It's absolutely worth it. Let me try and get my Carl on.
Facebook.com/Devil's Due Pod.
Attaboy. Okay, keep going, please.
You can email them, which I have done on multiple occasions, at the Devil's Due Pod, at the Devil's Due Podcast at gmail.com, or is it the Devil's Due Pod?
I don't know. It's one of the
It's
two.
your show.
I don't handle this aspect.
You can tweet them at the Devil's Due Pod.
That I know.
Email, Facebook, Twitter. That's it.
Well, the Devil's Due Podcast
At
.com.
.com. For all your
It's all
devil
there. Yeah.
needs.
Yeah, it's all there.
What are we calling this? The Devil's Lovers?
Golden
Dew?
The gold.
That could mean a lot.
I'm not going there. yeah, man, it's been fun. Hope you enjoyed it. If not, well, sorry. We'll be back next week with your regularly scheduled programming.
NJPWworld.com. It's not even 999 yen a month.
Which is much cheaper than it sounds, folks. All right, that's going to do it. Court. Actually, hang on. I so rarely get to do this.
I can.
Okay.
I'm rustling the In-N-Out Burger wrappers.
That was terrifying. Because I so rarely get to do this, folks. Court's adjourned.